Today's show is sponsored in part by Racedeck. Over 2 decades ago, Racedeck was invented, a cost-effective, durable, and truly do-it-yourself modular floor system engineered for the garage. Racedeck's multi-patented designs allows for an easy installation without all the hassles of toxic epoxy coatings. Choose from over 20 styles to create the coolest garage on your block. Every cool garage starts with a ground up, and that's with Racedeck. 20 styles to choose from, countless even more color options. Patented self-draining understructure allows liquids and moisture to flow freely, eliminating odor-causing mold and mildew. And it was invented in 1997 by car enthusiasts for car enthusiasts. Shop at racedeck.com and use code SPIKE911 for an exclusive 20% off and free shipping to celebrate their new commercial. Exclusive to you, SCR listeners, 20% off and free shipping at racedeck.com. Let's start the show.
Spike's Car Radio starts now.
A band of gypsies.
Listening to Jimi Hendrix, of course, Band of Gypsies. Recorded on New Year's Eve at the Fillmore East in New York City with his new band. This was, I think, the first album they put out with the new band, Billy Cox and Buddy Miles. I didn't know any of this when I first played this album when I was a kid, Zuckerman. Zuckerman's here. We're doing a show at Baldwin Hills. Also in attendance is the Johnny Lieberman sticker.
Hello, Johnny. Be quiet, please.
Isn't that a nice Johnny Lieberman? Look.
Yeah, he doesn't interrupt.
Johnny, what do you like Jimi Hendrix, don't you? Oh, wow, he doesn't have an opinion about it. You must
How's
like
that
him.
possible?
Or he's waiting his turn to speak.
You know, Hendrix has been in the ground now for what? 55 years? 54
in the ground.
years?
This is my favorite part of this song, though. But I just thought, when I first heard this, Zuckerman, these guys are kicking off an album with this. The first song in the album is 9 minutes plus, and it starts with just a lot of guitar, and then it gets to this part here. Let me go forward to 5 minutes. Listen to this. Listen. This is one of the other guys. With the do, with the do. I just thought this was amazing. Just amazing. It wasn't anything like what my peers were listening to. It was my dad's music, his album pile with Santana and Joe Cocker, and frankly, I was just way more into his music than I was into our music.
Well, it was easy to be way more into that music at the time, and think about it. The guitar solo is Dad Ferris did. There is no guitar solo anymore.
Could make a comeback.
When?
I don't know.
When we're dead.
I remember meeting our mutual friend, Jeff Greenberg, and he runs a studio here on the West Side, and telling him, it's almost like, no, it's a little after I moved to LA. But I said, this Jimi Hendrix guy really had me for many years as a kid. And he goes, oh, yeah, I knew Jimi Hendrix.
He said, yeah, he's sweet guy. That was what.
Sweet guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he blew my mind that he knew Jimi Hendrix.
He knew everybody.
Yeah, but just somebody who had actually interacted with that guy.
The golden age of rock and roll.
I would have killed for that. If you would ask me back in high school, like, where do you want to go in the time machine? I would have said the Fillmore East for this show. That was the limit of my thinking, and or Woodstock. One of those two shows to see Hendrix play live.
It seems so over the top when he took some Roncinol lighter fluid and set his guitar on fire, which is so kind of juvenile.
A couple of things. childhood obsessed Spike Ferris that did the same thing at his concerts. I got a Stratocaster as a graduation present in high school. That's all I wanted. I'd be playing some knockoff crap guitars. I had a Kramer with a steel neck that always fell down. I said, I just want the Stratocaster. I didn't like that on fire. But I took the old guitars I had, and when I realized since I have this nice new guitar, I can burn some guitars. So I would play at these parties, and I would burn my guitars.
With a little lighter fluid as well?
Oh, yeah, lots of lighter fluid. That little yellow and blue,
yes, exactly.
Whatever that is,
that little
came
can.
with the Zippo.
Yep, that little squeeze can.
I remember at a show I was putting on, talent show at the high school, I tore my shirt off and then played with my teeth. And my girlfriend's older sister said, he doesn't have a hairy chest. He really shouldn't do that.
Did you even have a chest?
No.
A little sunken.
But it worked. I'll tell you what. I copied all of Hendrix's tricks, and they worked. People loved it. I won, Zuckerman. But I was really just knocking off this great, amazing musician and guitarist, who I still admire to this day. I was thinking on the drive over here, what am I going to play? Just going to play Hendrix. What else do we need?
Not much.
Well, it's been
Not
a magical day here. You and I started the day with text from the Johnny sticker right there, who's racing. He's at some race somewhere.
And he improved his position.
But what is the race he was at? Were you listening?
No.
What is he race? I wasn't
don't know.
either. But he sent a link, and we could see him in the car or somebody in the car driving. And I was getting a bagel this morning after dropping off the Subaru Crosstrek with young Jack Ferriston. And we turned it on and watched him race. We watched the live feed, and we were pretty excited. It was pretty exciting. I was excited for Johnny. I was really, the technology is so cool. Like, imagine that. Hey, I'm going to be in the race car in 2 minutes, and here I am in Santa Monica at New York Bagel Deli. And I click the link, and there's Johnny racing.
Imagine if the worst had come to pass. You were biting into an ice cream cheese bagel, and he dies.
Hoping he doesn't crash. No, we were cheering him on. It was fun. But we couldn't quite tell where he was racing or what he was racing. But he was excited.
He was in a BMW, an older, what was it, E92?
Yeah.
I believe. And he did race. And when he got in the car, I think his car was in 9th place. And when he got out of the car, switched, he was in 6th place. And that's impressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he didn't win.
He's not a pro.
No.
He's a journalist.
Well, he's got a team. He's got to eclipse I thought there were 3 other drivers. You'd have to be together, right? But Scott Dixon sent him a nice text. He said, "Nice going, Choppy," or whatever he's from. Way to go, Choppy.
I think he's Australian, yes? Or New Zealand?
Way to go, Choppy. Good race. You went from 8th to 6th. Fantastic. And it sounds like he had a great day, and I'm sure we're going to hear about it, unfortunately.
At length.
At length.
As you look over to the sticker.
I'm looking over at the Johnny sticker because already Johnny sticker loves Hendrix. He didn't say anything about it. He loves Jimmy. He loves the Beatles. Anyway. Welcome to Spike's Car Radio. You're here. We're here. And it's an old school show, just me and Zuckerman.
And Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
No, he's not here. He's not here. He's a Brentwood resident, it turns out. He lives in my neighborhood. Zuckerman, are you paying attention? What are you doing?
I'm studying for the later part of the show.
Okay, study. You didn't study.
I did, but I'm refreshing my memory, Ferriston. That's why I'm a successful lawyer. Make sure I'm prepared.
That's good. Do you always prepare at the last minute like this?
No, I prepare and then I prepare again.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
That's your method? Do you ever do like preparation at night? Read it one last time, go to bed, wake up and read it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that how you do it?
Ferriston, if you want to make money,
yes,
you got to work.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Well,
it's
I'm
hard.
curious more about how you memorize, what your method to memorizing things is.
Yeah. First of all, I have to be interested. I have to be motivated.
Right.
Memorization and motivation go hand in hand.
Right.
I'm motivated by winning. I'm motivated by money. So
What about the fight? You're motivated a little bit by the fight.
yeah, I like
as well.
to annihilate the other side.
Yes.
So yes, and all of that is about winning. So I prepare. I read constantly. By the time I leave the office, at 7 or 8 at night, I am bleeding out of my eyes. My eyes are so red. I've read all day long, and I will go back to what's important to make sure I have command of it. And if I don't have command of it, I will sound like I do. That's a lawyer trick.
I read. Right now, I'm reading some sort of Lincoln Lawyer Bosch book. I can read about 4 sentences before I fall asleep. Reading puts me right to bed, Zuckerman.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't work as a lawyer. How do you stay awake?
Well, okay.
You're reading. I've seen the stuff you're reading.
Reading for pleasure is one thing.
I know.
And that's what does put me to sleep as well.
I read scripts and they put me to sleep.
Okay, well, maybe you read bad ones. But,
Even good ones.
yeah, but reading...
I don't like reading.
I do. I love reading. Now, I will fall asleep when reading these days. In my advanced years, in my decrepitude, I will fall asleep while reading about Hitler.
Right.
I'll go right to bed with sweet Hitler next to me. And
How many years have you been reading about Hitler?
probably since I'm 8. So it's a good half a century of Hitler. And I don't think I'll ever get enough of it. It'll go on until the end. And
What do you get out of that now, at this point, having digested all of Hitler? Is there anything left? I mean, what is it? Are you rereading things and going, oh, yeah, he wore a pinky ring?
it's a never-ending fascination for somebody of the Hebraic clan like me.
But are you learning new information at this?
Sometimes, and sometimes it's just reading again because you just can't understand it. You can't fucking understand it. It's inexplicable. You can think you read all the reasons, and you just shake your head and go, how is it possible? Did his father really beat him one time too many? Did his mother deprive him of love? How did all of this happen? What are the accidents of history? Was he jacked up on meth the whole time? I just can't fathom it, Ferrison.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp.
I need some.
Not you.
Hitler. If he had only had better help.
I think that's on the no list, Zuckerman. Comparison is the thief of joy, and it's easy to envy other people's lives.
That's Stalin. I need what he has.
It might look like they have it all together on their Instagram, but in reality, they probably don't.
That communist motherfucker, I need to take his...
Imagine if Hitler had Instagram, what that would have been like. Therapy can help you focus on what you want instead of what others have, so you can start living your best life. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Now that I'm interested in.
You like switching? That motherfucker told me I cannot take over the world. I'm switching.
I just mean imagine if you just had like some sort of like dating app where you swipe. If you could do that with shrinks, like the second they said, hey,
we want money.
I need you to confirm. No, they confront you with some stuff you don't want to do. You just go with the next guy.
Who eventually says you're fine the way you are.
That's right.
You're just going to go doctor shopping until you're okay. It's everyone else.
I don't think it works that way. BetterHelp helps everybody. Stop comparing and start focusing with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Bike911. You get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Bike911.
I think you should drive through L.A., put down the window, get the neighbor in the neighboring car to put down their window and go, comparison is the thief of joy. You just
It's true.
It is true.
Compare and despair. Look, if you don't know that by now, you're not on TikTok. TikTok is all these little, and then Instagram has some. There's this guy, you wouldn't even know him on Instagram, Tom Sammet. I don't even know who he is or what he is, but I follow him, and he's always got these little phrases like that.
Little things, aphorisms that help
Little
you.
tiny ones that, the second you start comparing yourself to someone else, you're going to feel like shit. There's no way to win in that situation. And then I told you, I've said it on the show a million times. The moment it really hit was when Jerry and I were both driving identical Conda Green 70S's. I owned one with less miles. Mine had 6,000, his had 8,000. And I looked at him next to me. We were up by Universal on the highway, and I went, I want that car. He's got something I want, that car. And I was in a better version of that car.
I know.
Compare despair right there. You see?
Wisdom.
BetterHelp.
From Dear Ferriston.
All right, there's lots in the news this week to cover. We got a big fat show here. But the 2025 Porsche 911 GT3 is here. It's here, Zuckerman. I don't know if you saw it.
I did.
Lots of pomp, lots of circumstance, lots of PR emails sent around for this new version. What do we call this? The 992.2 GT3?
Correct.
Let me give you some stats here. We're going to talk about it. Starting price, $53,000 more expensive than the last GT3. And $40,000 pricier than the 2024 iteration, which started at $171,500 and $184,500, respectively. And that's before adding any options, such as the newly available Weissach Pack. You can get a Weissach Pack now.
Yep.
Which costs, drum roll,
30 some odd grand.
$20,000 or $36,000 with the lightweight package available for the GT3 Touring. Who wants lightweight stuff for the GT3 Touring? Of note, Zuckerman, GT3 Touring, of note, will have back seats.
That's right.
Or an option to get back seats. I think they finally heard. And if you, there's a video on YouTube with some guy, I think Car Wow guy, whoever that guy is, he's great.
Right.
He's talking to Pruni, Andreas Pruniger, and running all these things by. You know, there were a lot of rumors it's going to have a hybrid engine. Well, it doesn't. But the back seats, it does.
Very cool.
And Pruni said he heard from a lot of people. A lot of people.
Maybe us.
It wasn't just us. A lot of people that the touring car should be a touring car. Suspension, tires had to change when they put those back seats in for kids or whomever, amputees, whoever you drive around who can fit back there. But finally, this touring is going to be a touring. Now let's start with style. Well, here, let me tell you a few other things that I know here. Interior tweaks are even more subtle. Newly designed carbon fiber backrest. That did look pretty cool. The Automaker will also offer GT3 Touring with optional rear seats, which we said. GT3's history as a Porsche celebrates its 25th anniversary, blah, blah, blah. Styling. Let's start there.
Pretty similar. I mean, I think you would have to be a real nerd to see, you know, the difference. I'm sure there'll be slight differences in lights. I think there's some aerodynamic features that weren't on the last one. They carry overs from the RS onto the GT3 Touring. You can get.
I have to be honest. I mean, I can read what it says here, but I didn't see anything that changed all that much that got me really excited.
It's the price. It's the biggest change is the price. The engine is the same.
Yeah, it's a 4-liter.
Essentially the same car.
It's a 4-liter flat six. Continues to churn out. Continues.
503.
502, yeah, 503, same. But Porsche didn't tweak the engine to meet stricter emission standards. It now has GT3 RS camshafts, new throttle bodies, which we do like. Throttle bodies.
Yes.
Throttle bodies.
Throttle body.
Revised heads while still pairing to a 6-speed manual transmission with a shorter final drive or a 7-speed dual clutch. So, you know, again, it approaches the GT3 RS, which is what they do, and then the new GT3 RS will push out a little bit.
As we know, somehow the second version is always different, and you can feel it. I have to rely upon that because we've always said.
Now, what do you mean by that?
Well, like the 997.1 versus the 0.2. The car was different. Now they did put the engine up 0.2 liters, but then with the 991, they improved, I thought, vastly upon the 991.1 with the second version. So somehow you do notice a difference when you're driving it, but on paper, to me, it doesn't justify the extra 50 grand. I think it's
isn't that just them trying to get some of the money that's going to dealerships?
Absolutely.
For these invoice over.
Absolutely.
And does that work? So in theory, your GT3 drivers are not going to want to pay that far over sticker. They'll pay it. I guess it
chills the market. It chills the market.
You think it does?
Well, for me, it does.
Right.
For me, it's like, nah. No, we're going to get the ST. Somebody else can have our allocation. I don't really.
Oh, be careful.
Allegation.
Before you start giving away allocations, let's just be careful. Yeah, but continue.
Yeah. I mean, look, I remember.
When was the last time we bought a GT3? Like, I had one.
We had a 991.1 GT3.
Oh, we had the touring.
No, we had a 992 GT3 touring that I drove once. Remember the tires?
Yeah, no, I remember the touring, but nothing with a wing. I'd have to go back to 2015 when I had the dark blue one.
Right.
Yeah, I guess I didn't consider that. I kept thinking in my mind, Porsche was going to close after the ST.
Right.
Subconsciously, I was thinking that's the end of the line. We can stop there and we don't have to think about these cars anymore. But no.
No, they know how to get our money first. And we haven't stopped getting money. They're not going to stop taking it. That's how that works. And when I got my first 997.1 GT3, I think it was actually a little less expensive than a lot of the other 911 line, because it was in a way a decontented car.
Yeah.
And so it was surprisingly what I thought at the time was reasonable, and I seem to recall it being slightly over $100,000. And we're approaching a point where I'm actually getting shocked at the price.
Yeah.
Not that I can't, not that we can't, it's just getting shocking, because it seems to be that they're not so much figuring out how much the car costs, but how much the market can bear.
Yeah. It's interesting. One thing's for sure, though, there's a healthy market for GT3 fans and buyers.
Yep, it gets bigger.
There was a lot of excitement. I looked at this car and I went, this kind of looks like just a regular 911 with a wing stuck on the back. Like, it didn't look, to me, it looked more ordinary, and I think that had more to do with the spec. The one I saw was white, and it had gold wheels and it had the wing, but it looked like somebody had just made it. Like, it, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that car, I just think it might have been the spec.
Not a fully thought out plan. It wasn't well integrated. Too many cliches put together.
And I think we're kind of in an inverse, position here, where the touring for the first time seemed really exciting again. Like, Car Wow guy, I guess, has kids, and he was really excited about, I could put my kids in the back. I know that feeling. That's a great feeling. You put a kid in a GT3, and Pruny was talking about it. The kids get excited. They hear the engine. That's a nice setup. And if they've truly set that car up right, that touring, that's a big winner. That's the car to be excited about.
And then and it kind of validates that little cottage industry that was created around putting back seats in the GT3.
Yeah, no, I know. Those guys got to be shaking right now. I guess retroactively they could do it, but there was a lot. Pruny actually talked about that, how much had to change. It wasn't about weight, but it was about the seats. It was something about
security,
the suspension,
safety,
suspension and tires. He said a lot had to change, just by putting those seats in there. But I think if I were a dad, I'd want the Porsche seats. I mean, nothing against the aftermarket guys, but I'd still kind of want it on the sticker.
One of my great moments was driving on the 405 North in the carpool lane.
Yes.
My son must have been 2 or 3.
Yes.
I had him in the back seat of a 997, or rather a 993 Carrera S.
Yes.
And the copper pulled me over for being alone. And then when he got me over, I pointed at a little package in the back and foiled him. And Dell was sleeping the whole time. Had no awareness.
Fantastic.
Yes, I have something there. Another being.
That's a genius way to go, instead of the big, Emmett Kelly dummy in the right seat. Get a fake baby and put it in the back and go, there you go. There you go. I dropped the kids off at preschool and grade school in a variety of different race cars, and they're great memories. I encourage you to do this, to get those seats in that car and to do this. It's so much fun. And now the kids are big, but I look back at those pictures and I go, look at that.
Yeah.
68 Trans Am race car. And in show and tell, I did a show and tell on that car.
Did you really?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I brought it in. And then somebody at some point was taking pictures of me for some magazine. So there's pictures of me dropping James off in this 68 Trans Am race car. Fantastic. That's the nursing home stuff we need, Zuckerman. You need that stuff. I did these funny things. 997 GT3 RS drops at the grade school. It's so fun. Preschoolers love that. They
Oh, yeah.
love race cars. They love them.
Of course. And they love being in the little seats that big people can't sit in.
Yeah.
Things made for them.
These are good things to do. Street legal race cars are good. We like them. The new GT3, I'm not sure what we're going to do there, but it did remind me that we owned a GT3 RS that neither of us have been driving.
Where is that car?
I think it's in Santa Monica in my hangar.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Keep it there.
I have the Zagato in the garage. And I learned a lesson, Zuckerman. Here's some psychology you can help us with. You love psychology, but I had to learn it again at this age and this point in my collecting life. When did I start buying cars? In 1990? 1990. So I get in the Zagato today, which we talked about last week. It was just gone through, and I opened the garage and oh shoot, there's this great car here. Why am I not driving it? And I decided to pick up Jack at the Subaru dealership. He's getting that first service.
Right.
By the way, Subaru, they go, the first service is free. I go, that's amazing. I go, then what happens? They go, the next 3 are free. I go, isn't that the life of the lease? They go, maybe.
Wow.
How great is that? I was just like, God, I love these guys. I love Subaru. Anyway, I get into the Zagato. And I'm driving down one of these roads in Santa Monica, and I look up at my steering wheel, and I'm like, and I do this thing that I've done 100 times in my collecting. I start to get OCD-ish, even though I'm not OCD, but I start to go, is the steering wheel crooked? Is it not going down? Is it not straight? Is it not centered, right? Did something happen to the tie rods that have made it now crook to the right? And I try to very quickly get myself off the ledge. And by the time I get home, I'm texting Marco going, did you have to do anything to the steering column? He's like, nothing was done. We were changing. He didn't touch it, right? He goes, it is possible when it was put on the flatbed that when they cinched it down, it knocked. But it's driving perfectly straight. So I did my best, Zuckerman, for like an hour to go, all right, okay, maybe I'll meditate. It just gets bigger and bigger in my head. And then I start going, all right, I'm going to start going onto the forums and hoping to find relief. Like, the roads kind of tilt to the right, the wheel tilts to the right. It's the opposite of that. Something's wrong. Don't take no, bring it back, do this stuff. And then I'm just dead. This car is running perfectly. There's no sound issues. It's just perfect.
But your head did you in.
And I have something that I'm ready to call you and goes, put it in the junkyard. I can't drive this. It's not going straight. You got to put it on a flat surface and see if it's straight. Then I'm like doing that, and I'm like, then it is, and then it's not, and I'm losing my mind, Zuckerman. What is this about perfection? What do you do? Here's what I want to know. And I got over it, and I'll tell you how. But how do you get past the imperfections on your car?
I've let something else bother me.
Oh, no.
No, it's true, because something will come along. Okay, and here's what's funny. Marco just had my 51.
Yes.
I went over a pothole.
Oh, no.
And I could hear in the little moon cap on the left rear wheel, there was some broken metal in there.
Oh, no.
So I pulled off the moon cap, and the cotter pin, there's a big cotter pin that's on the hub, is that on the kingpin or whatever they call it, that was busted. And I must have hit it. So I must have hit the car so hard in this new pothole on San Vicente. I know every pothole on that street, but new ones occur. And so I sent the car to Marco. And it came back earlier in the week. The splines, the left rear drum had gotten bent out of shape in this little mishap. So he had to get a new drum with the right and splines and all of this stuff, and he put it together. And it got delivered back by Frank, the tow guy. And Frank dropped it off, and I start going south on Robertson, and the motherfucker's pulling to the left. And I go, holy shit, what did Marco do?
Oh, no.
Yeah, swear to God. Same exact thing.
Same situation.
Same exact thing. I go, what did he do? It's pulling to the left. He must have pulled this out of alignment.
Yeah.
What in God's name did he do? What did he do? And then and immediately I'm thinking, and Marco, if you're listening, I'm sorry that I immediately executed you in my mind. But I started driving it and realized in this case, it was just the road.
Yeah,
the road had been pulling me, and then my mind ran away.
That's right.
With all of
That's
the
what I
things.
did.
Everything was ruined. The car's never going to be right. I've just, and I went down the rabbit hole of doom.
Yeah.
And that's just my negative monkey mind.
No.
It can
See, the same thing, the same exact thing happened.
in the same week.
And this is a very common car phenomena.
Remember our friend who we
brought up, our friend Jimi Hendrix. I was just going to say.
Yes, tell the listeners about that one.
I had to talk him off a ledge.
What did he think happened at the?
Jeff brought his C2S in to get detailed. Frankly, it was just a car wash. It was 1 hour. And when he brought it back, he was sure that they had stolen his seats and replaced them with seats from older, worse off C2S.
He was Greenberg.
And he, to his credit, called me and he goes, I need you to talk me off the ledge.
He called me about that too.
He did?
Oh, yeah.
I said, yeah, you can't. That didn't happen. I go, where did you get? He goes, it was just at a car wash. I go, yeah, they're not interested in your seats. Don't worry about it.
They didn't happen to have a pair of other seats to put in your car.
But no, but we're onto something. We found something.
Yeah.
That when a car comes back to you, your eyes.
It's control.
No, but
your
but
eyes
that you
see things different.
See things differently, and you might catch something that may have already been there that suddenly you think, oh, they did this. Well, here's what I did. I mean, I do two things. Because I had learned this a long time ago. I think late 90s I had learned it, and I had developed the strategy, and I had forgotten it. And the strategy is really simple. I don't know if you're a maintenance guy every 6 months or a year. I have a list of cars on my phone, on my to-do list, and I have their status.
Really?
And and there's stuff that needs to be addressed right away. You've got a flat tire, and then there's stuff that like this. The car's driving straight. Check the next time it goes in, check the alignment. Don't send it in right now. It's driving just fine. Odds are it's not even the steering wheel's perfect. I know because I had worked on that 2 summers ago. I had already gone down this road, and when I did get it perfectly straight, then it made me feel weird in a completely different way. Like I've changed the geometry of it. There was no. In other words, my obsession made it so that I couldn't win whatever position it was in.
And it wrecks the enjoyment.
And it wrecks the enjoyment. So here's this beautiful day today, a perfect day. Low 70s, windows down, and I'm ruining this drive on my San Vicente in the sunshine with no traffic. I'm just ruining it by obsessing. And it's uniquely car guy stuff. But the second I put it on the list, so I have a status. Zagato says ready, and then past it in parentheses, which means it's not really a big deal, but when you bring it in, it just says check alignment, center wheel.
So you dealt with it.
And then
dealt with it.
It all went away. It instantly went away.
Yeah, that's not a bad strategy. Me waiting for something else to come along to bother me is just a reality that I exist in. I should do something more proactive than stay negative minded.
But it's the only way to deal with if you're going to have more than one car and you've got old cars. You can't. I mean, it's good that you go for perfection, but don't let it ruin your day.
Our old friend, he didn't call me about the seats. He'd called me years before about what he was convinced they had put a marble in his dashboard at the dealership. Well, that was rolling back and forth.
That did happen. I did it. You know what? I love AG1. AG1 helps you build a healthy morning routine in just 60 seconds. You can get your daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre- and probiotics, adaptogens, and more. And that's why I've been drinking AG1 for how many years, Zuckerman?
How many years? Forever.
2006 years. When I drink my AG1 first thing in the morning, I feel like I don't even need coffee. It gives me an energy boost and no caffeine crash like coffee does. I also know that I'm giving my body the nutrient support it needs to power through the day. AG1 contains prebiotics, probiotics, gut-supporting ingredients to support your digestion, reduce bloating, and keep you regular. Look how much less bloated I look now. What was that? Speaking of less bloating, what was that animal you sent me on Instagram? Was that a hippopotamus?
Yes, the one that was, and
spraying feces? Well, like
he was using his tail like a propeller.
I saw
and he was spraying poop water everywhere on all of the people looking at him.
It was an amazing sound.
Yes.
But I was going, why is Zuckerman sending me this stuff right now?
The better part was that somebody removed it from their feed, so it came down shortly after I sent it to you. Like, oh, this is too personal. I better take this off.
In a recent research study, AG1 was actually shown to double the amount of healthy bacteria in the gut. These healthy bacteria work together to break down food and are known to alleviate bloating, promote digestive regularity, and aid in digestive comfort
comfort
term.
Having digestive comfort right now.
For your comfort. So start with AG1 and notice the difference for yourself. It's a great first step to investing in your health, and that's why they've been a proud partner of mine for so long. Try AG1 and get a free bottle of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase at drinkag1.com/bike911. That's a $48 value for free if you go to drinkag1.com/bike911. Check it out. I was going to bring something else up in that ad, which I'm sure they don't want to hear.
Which is?
I forget. There's so much to get through here. Wait, there's more. There's more. All right. Where to start? Where to keep going? The new Ferrari F80.
Wow.
Did you see it?
Yes.
So here, this is what's exciting about that. And it's not necessarily the car. Okay? What's exciting about the F80 announcement is we're finally here at the Halo car competition, right?
Yes.
So that this 963 rumor or the GT1 rumor from here, something's going to happen soon.
There will be an answer, a repost to Ferrari and their 2026 F80.
I looked at the F80 and I went, "Who cares?" To me it didn't look right. And then I sent you that post by CJ Wilson, our friend CJ.
Mm-hmm.
Where is he? He's up in Sacramento somewhere.
Fresno something.
Fresno Porsche. CJ. Formerly of the Angels, friend of Spike's Car Radio. And he was doing a very funny in-one about car design. And I don't mean funny, comically funny. He just looked funny. He hadn't shaved. His tie wasn't fully put up yet. His hair was tousled, but he was wearing a suit. I think that's where I was talking about Emmett Kelly. That
right.
He kind of looked like Emmett Kelly. Look at Emmett Kelly's on my mind. But he was pointing out that it seems like lately with the hypercars, the manufacturers have lost the aesthetic. They haven't made things maybe as beautiful as they should, and I think he's right.
100%.
He's 100% right.
This looked, even though it's only 1,000 or 1,050 kilos, it looks chunky and big and square and boxy and not sexy. And
you look at the previous hypercar was what? The LaFerrari.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Look at the first one, the 288 GTO. Which in my mind is one of the greatest looking Ferraris of all time.
Yeah. I wonder, and we just talked about that 12-cylinder deal, this Cilindri or whatever they call it. That I think
Cilindri.
It got me excited because I saw those vintage cues in the front nose there, and I liked it. But this, I just went, it looks like almost like a 962 or some weird race car.
To me, it was all about the stats. If there was anything I liked about the car, it was the stats. It wasn't the looks.
I have no doubt they've made something great. I mean, there was a lot of controversy that it wasn't a V12. They're going to be using the 3-liter V6.
120 degrees.
Same motor used in the 499P that it won Le Mans a couple times. Okay, yeah, that's great.
3 electric motors, 1,200 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 2.1 seconds.
But why is it so chunky?
I don't know.
I mean, it didn't, when you looked at it, right, it didn't make you dream. It didn't create desire, right?
No, and then it's incongruent because you're reading that they made shit in a 3D printer, that it's so light, it's all of these things. Statistically, it is amazing, and then visually, meh.
Yeah. I like the F80. I like the name. I remember laughing at the LaFerrari. It sounded like like a cocktail.
Yep.
Right? But here's a real name, an F80. That gets people excited.
I thought it was a dessert with lots of meringue.
You know what year the F40 came out? 87.
20 years ago?
87.
Wow.
87.
Wait, then it went F40, F50, then it went the Enzo, then LaFerrari. Do I have the order right?
The F58. The F69.
Whoa.
I'm just reading some more specs here. So this V6 isn't, of course, constrained in any way like it is when it races. so they can make 900 horsepower.
You could go
with it.
217 miles an hour, Ferriston.
Yeah.
From here to your house. If you didn't have to stop, you could probably get there in 6 minutes.
300 horsepower from the electric motors for a combined 1,200 horsepower. Electronically limited, 217 miles an hour. I guess, could that be the tires? What are they worried about? And 2,300 pounds of downforce, which is wild.
More downforce than the car weighs.
I know, but
But
I don't like the way it looks. And I look, I'm a little superficial. I really I start with how things look. I want it to look right. I have to like the way it looks. I have to get excited about how it looks. And I'm not that I was ever in the market for this car, but I don't know. It was a bit of a womp womp.
Yeah, and at the time I didn't think the F40 was so good looking, but it got my attention.
Yeah.
Not like this, which is meh.
Yeah. I just hope Porsche is ready to do something. I just hope they've got it right. I like swoopy. I like swoopy lines. I want swoopy. I don't want chunky. That looks like a chunk. Right now, there's a chunk of mac and cheese that in the shape of a rectangle in my fridge. That's what that car looked like.
Legos. It's made out of the Legos.
The F80 is a chunk of cheese and Legos. Yeah.
We'll make our own F80 with cheese.
I'm sure it's an amazing car. The Ferrari people don't care what we think.
I'm going to carve one out of some Colby.
And look, we're Ferrari guys. We like Ferraris. I just think, why not make this stuff look beautiful? It doesn't even look as good as a McLaren. You know, even McLaren's looking great compared to that car, that F80.
The age of beautiful cars is so far past, Ferriston.
No, it can still be done.
When's the last time you saw a beautiful car? A brand
Well,
new
our
beautiful car?
GT3 RS is beautiful. I love the way that looks. You mean something new?
Something new.
I told you just that Ferrari 12.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought it looked great. I thought it was different and modern and vintage at the same time, and it made me go, oh, wow. And it was in yellow, fly yellow. Made me want it. It created desire, which I think is what they're supposed to do.
They're supposed to. Remember the first time you saw a C3 Corvette?
Yeah.
That really, when I was a kid, that thing blew
Is
my
that the
mind.
set? I don't know what the
From
70s.
68 on,
The 70s, yeah.
Yeah, the early 70s. That thing blew my mind. Corvettes, Jags.
I saw an orange one, and I came home and I told my mom I saw this orange Corvette. She goes, she always had a story. She was an emergency room nurse. She always had a story of what went wrong with everything I was excited about. So they're opening up a go-kart track. Oh, it's going to pull your scalp off. Turns out that's true, Zuckerman.
Yes.
You're going to get a mini bike. Oh, you know, so-and-so's brothers died on a mini bike. I thought I finally had her with that Corvette. And she goes, Michael, you know they're made of fiberglass. And the one caught fire and it melted all over the man inside. They couldn't get him out.
That was always
That's what she told me, Zuckerman. And I was like, I've been horrified by that. I don't even know if it's true.
That's not true. What we used to hear was that they split open. They cracked
No,
open
they
like
melt
an egg.
on you like candle wax and surround you like a mummy. I was terrified. I was like, well, I got to be careful what I want. Fuck that. I'm not going to go down in a candle wax fire. It wasn't true. She's going to deny that. I'm sure she's going to call me and say that didn't happen. But it happened. Or some version of it did happen.
Does she admit to the dog track?
The what?
The dog track.
Oh,
on
yeah.
Christmas Day.
Yes, of course. But that was fun.
Yes.
I had fun. I had a good time. I don't know if she would admit. She probably would. I remember at Thanksgiving, I was on the other side of the kitchen table, and I was really annoying her for no reason. I was probably bored. And she said, get out of here. And she threw a bag of Pepperidge Farm stuffing at me, and it exploded on my back. And we just laughed. I thought that was really funny.
My mother took...
That was the only time she ever lifted a hand to me, ever. And believe me, I was pushing buttons left and right.
Yeah, my mother once... she took the fully cooked baked potatoes out of the oven and hurled them at me.
You deserve that.
I did deserve... Trust me, I did. She lost her fucking mind. She came unglued. She was pitching
So this is
450-degree baked potatoes at
This
me.
is really good backstory for your potato brain scale. That at one point you were hit by potatoes that may have affected you.
No. She didn't hit me, but I did succeed in making her that angry.
It's pretty effective when your mom throws food at you.
You've
crossed the
gotten there.
line.
Yeah.
She once said, we were on the highway. She goes, if you hit your brother again, I'm going to let you out on the highway. I go, do it. And then I punched my brother and she stopped and I got out of that car and started going the other way. Just to see, because I knew I had her boxed in. She said, get in this car. It's, teenagers.
Oh, yeah. Vacations with my father. That was another nightmare, being trapped in that car, going to upstate New York. Harvey driving, cursing his head off, screaming.
At you or the other
Everything.
drivers?
We would invariably stop at some diner north of New York City. We would leave, and it would exactly about, I'd say, 35 miles from the diner, he'd realize he left his glasses back there. And he would make a sharp left turn across the grass median that went down like a V and up the other side, doing a rooster tail of dirt, screaming, fuck! Fuck, I was making time. And we'd be terrified in the back. He's driving in a station
horrible.
wagon.
I'm with him. That's bad.
110 miles an hour.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
I yell that whenever I leave something in my hangar in Santa Monica and I'm pulling into the driveway and I realize it. Same thing. Fuck! I can drive all the way
But Ferguson, making a 90-degree left turn at speed into the grass median, hitting the bottom of the V, bouncing up.
Oh, it's so good.
No seat belts.
No
nothing. The thing packed to the gills.
Yeah.
And then hitting that southbound lane, dirt flying.
Those glasses probably cost what, 89 cents?
Exactly.
They're not like the ones I'm wearing. They ended up costing $700.
Steam coming out of his ears, cigarettes
just-
getting sucked down in one go.
Yeah. Poor Stanley.
My mother trying to say to the, it's okay. No, Marilyn, nothing's okay. Why did you have to lie? Why did you lie to us and tell us it was okay?
Because their job was to keep the peace back then. That's what they thought the mom was to do.
Harvey is melting. He's out of his head. And my mother's saying, it's okay. In other words, you can behave this way when something's not happening right.
Now I feel like I'm in your BetterHelp session. You could use BetterHelp. You could tell them that story.
Oh, my mother.
They would help that.
My mother said to my dad, "We have to go to couples therapy," and he goes, "Okay." And then he, being a doctor, he called up his friend, the shrink, and basically set it up. And then
Set what up? What do you mean?
They went in to the shrink, and basically the shrink told my mother she was crazy. And then my father was okay. The setup.
Holy shit. He's a doctor. Was a doctor.
Yeah, he was a doctor, so he got his friend. Okay, I'll tell you what you're going to do.
I understand you now on a completely different level. The potato in that story. It really is some insight into who Zuckerman is now and how he got that way. It's your origin story, like the Penguin. Did you watch episode 4 of The Penguin?
So good.
You saw her origin story.
In the mental hospital.
In the mental hospital, wrongfully accused of murder. That's yours.
Yeah. And my mother was so angry. She didn't talk to him for days. Didn't talk.
How did she know?
Well, because at some point I think he admitted it many years later.
Did he use the phrase, you're crazy?
Basically, yes. And my father just sat there looking. She knew it was a setup. Because she realized she didn't even have to open her mouth. And then...
Oh, Jesus. I didn't know you could do that.
Well, you can't, but it did happen that way. That's how it happened back then, Ferriston.
Hello, handsome. Nice face you shaved there, whether you're going smooth shaven or maintaining a beard. Dollar Shave Club offers shave and grooming products that are always high quality, but never overpriced. Did you get your box yet?
I did.
You did?
I did.
Oh, my God. Thank God.
Thank you. It's at the office. I'm going to bring it back.
It's a big box,
It's
right?
a big, giant box.
Yes. In it, you're going to find the Club 6 Blade Razor, a shave so comfy your skin will take a nap. 6 stainless steel blades for your closest and most comfortable shave with a vitamin E infused lubricant strip for comfort and glide, and precision trimmer for precise detailing. The Club Series diamond grip handle, super clingy in a good way. It's got nice heft, Zuckerman, like a nice fork, except it's your shaver.
Like a nice fork in my face.
Yeah. No, but you know when you pick up a nice fork, I like a nice fork. Well, I love these razors because they feel the same way. You've got some shave butter in there. Post-shave dew. The whole deal. Double-headed electric trimmer, style detailer, precision trimmer. I forgot to get Johnny. Sorry, Johnny. He hasn't said much this show. He wanted the nose trimmer. He needs it.
He needs hedge clippers.
I'm using all of the stuff from Dollar Shave Club, and I'm so happy they sent Zuckerman his stuff. You're going to love it. But don't take our word for it. Try it for yourself. You can visit their site right now for 20% off or $20 or more. 20% off, $20 or more, and get your products delivered right to your door. Visit dollarshaveclub.com/Spike911 to help, and use promo code Spike911 for 20% off, $20 or more. And remember how you shave. Dollar Shave Club is here to help you stay handsome. There it is. And they do it. I'm doing it. I'm using it. I love shaving. What else do we have? Oh, here's some stories I wanted to ask you about, particularly this one that's going viral right now. Speaking of New York, weren't we just talking about the about New York?
Yes.
The Belt Parkway in Queens. Have you seen this video? Hold on. Alleged New York City scammers, violent car crash caught on the dash cam. This is unbelievable.
Yep.
Here's the deal. It was first posted on TikTok by Ashpia Natasha. It's racked up 35 million views, and it shows her. She's actually on the phone chatting with her boyfriend or friend or husband. And like so many times before, she's in the left lane of this small 2-lane highway. And, you know, this car jumps in front of her to the left and gets in front of her. And you think it's going to be road rage. She slows down.
She stops.
She stops. And then the car is put into reverse and slams into her. And she screams. And then everybody gets out. But clearly,
holding their necks.
Oh, yeah, holding their necks.
Holding their necks.
And 3 passengers that just look like anybody. And it's really frightening. So the question to you, obviously they're faking a violent rear-ender on a highway.
Yep.
But what is the scam? Like, where do the scammers go from there?
Okay, so what usually happens in these cases, and they call that a swoop and squat, where you try to, it's called a swoop and squat, and you try to force someone to rear end you. In this case, the rear ending didn't happen, and they backed in. And classically, these cases have 3 people in the car. It's always 3 people, and usually they're paid something in advance by either a very corrupt lawyer or somebody called a capper, and the capper pays them $500 up front. Then they go to a crooked doctor. The crooked doctor they don't actually treat, but the doctor generates a medical bill. And then the doctor gets paid some money. A crooked lawyer gets paid some money. This capper who set up the whole thing gets paid some money. And these people themselves get paid some money. It's really a low-end, bottom-feeding kind of a crime, because you don't really, if you're the one of the people in the car, you don't get a whole bunch of money. And there's a time process for this thing. So you're engaging in a felony, for a couple of few grand.
Where does the car come from? I mean, who is it registered to?
Well, that's always, usually if they could find somebody desperate that doesn't mind bashing their car, that
I see.
But there were many, many, many years ago when I first started practicing, I was doing insurance defense for farmers, and you'd get these cases where 3 people were in a car. They never met each other before the day they got in the car. And they would always say, and you know where the accidents used to happen? At Sunset and Bundy area, where that curve is. And so going
in my neck of the woods?
Yeah, in your neck of the woods, and three rather impoverished people who didn't know each other had this story that they met each other and they were going to the beach and they would slam on their brakes in the left lane of Sunset and get nailed from behind.
Wow.
And then they would end up, somehow they didn't know each other. They all went to the same doctor. They all went on the same days. They all got the same treatment. They all had the same bills. It was pretty obvious.
Wow. And is that still going on?
No.
Well, obviously it is.
It is, but it, I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen bald cases of it, and nothing's come in my office. I don't see that kind of stuff. I'm sure you're right. I'm sure it is happening, but there was a time where a group of 3 people slammed on their brakes in front of an 18-wheeler in California. This must have been the late 90s, and they got killed.
Yeah.
And the people who had staged it, who set it up, there were some very heavy penalties that were paid.
Oh, boy.
And I think those people decided maybe it was just safer to, instead of risking lives, to just do things like workers' comp and Medicare and Medi-Cal fraud, and skip the actual people getting hurt.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's frightening.
Yeah.
Well, that video is terrifying.
Yep.
You're just like, what the hell?
That's your greatest ad for a dash cam right there.
Yeah, no, I know. But every time I decide that I want to get a dash cam, I mean, the Tesla has one built in, and you can attach it to the horn. So you can, anytime you beep the horn, it turns on, which is the moment you usually want to capture. And then it can go back, I think, retroactively 3 to 5 minutes, and you can watch everything up.
And Elon somewhere watching you.
He's dancing on a stage somewhere.
Yes.
But actually, that is very useful. And it, a lot of time I'll go back and someone will cut you off, and then I'll watch it and go, oh, that wasn't so bad. It wasn't so crazy. Because I think, I'll just get this clip and I'll send it to Zuckerman, and this will be fun. Look at this jerk. By the way, I was cut off like 10 times on the way here. I don't know what's going on here on a Saturday night. But oh my God, Zuckerman. The drivers are so bad. Anyway, a lot of folks sent me this Starbucks for the Elite clip, including you,
So dumb.
Zuckerman.
Yeah.
And I kept writing, and I don't know if I said it to you, but I go, you do understand these guys are comedians, or one of them is, right? You don't actually think this is real.
Obviously, I didn't think this was real.
What's that?
I didn't think it was real.
You didn't.
No, of course not.
But why did you send it?
I sent it to you because of the Seinfeld reference, and I should have realized you got, 1,000 other people sending it to you, but I was just listening to it because it was dumb funny, and then they get to the part where Jerry's there and ordering a coffee drink, which, of course, he would never order that kind of drink.
Expired, and you could talk about this. You used to work at a secret Starbucks, is that right?
Yeah, there is a Starbucks that is like above reserve, like a Starbucks no one's ever heard of or been to. All right, have you ever wondered while driving in Los Angeles, how come you've never seen like Will Smith stuck in traffic on the 405?
Yeah.
I've never seen a 1%er just in their car stuck in traffic.
Why is that?
That's because there's a series of intricate tunnels underneath Los Angeles known as the Actor Bond. I'm not kidding. Like, they get access points.
I think, Zuckerman, I think people were saying it because they believe this.
You can come up.
This is like a conspiracy theory.
Come on.
You can pop up at Dodger Stadium. Underneath.
If this were true, there would be no paparazzi. They were only photographing celebrities in traffic all the time. Ben Affleck just yesterday in Brentwood.
Coffees while they're driving. All
Who's
of
them?
that.
But here, the thing is, it's this guy, Bill Pusley. I don't know who these guys are, but I'm sure they're funny.
Clever.
Nice
They
guy.
got a lot of views.
They got a ton. This thing went viral, but I think it went viral because of the music. Made it sound like it could be real, and I think a certain part of the population believes anything. They believe this.
Yeah.
But what I find really kind of interesting about it isn't exactly funny.
No,
And it's not exactly conspiracy theory. It's just this weird, interesting video that, for some reason, has caught people's attention. I don't know what the hell.
I don't know
it is.
why either, because there's not a lot of hooks in it.
No, but it made me kind of crazy, like the steering wheel when I started thinking about it. Like, what is this? I don't know. Are you being funny, or are you being a conspiracy? Pick a lane.
What made me look at it was secret Starbucks for celebrities.
Yes, that's true.
That was the hook. That was the only hook in the whole thing.
Well, do you remember the first celebrity Starbucks? Was it Tommy Lee?
No.
Don't you remember in the 90s, there was a big thing. He's got a Starbucks in his house. The first Starbucks for a celebrity in his house. It was just a Starbucks machine. But he had built this whole Starbucks sign. You don't remember that?
No.
I was blown away. But wow, he's really living the
Did
life.
he build it with his penis?
Remember, this is a time. I'm not going to let you go on a penis rant. This is a time when there were no home coffee machines except for Mr. Coffee. So he had built what they can do at Starbucks, he can do in his house. Now there's Lavazza and everything else, and we all have the machines. But it was a big deal.
I remember coming back from Italy, my first time spending some time there and buying one of those dumb little silver coffee pots to make your own espresso.
Yeah.
Thinking I could do that.
Yeah.
Nah, didn't work.
No.
Straight in the
it's
trash.
a nice idea. Well, a few weeks back, I think during the Lufka Cult show, I was accusing you and Matt Farrer of wearing tinfoil hats and worrying that the Chinese or somebody was going to attack us via the software in cars. And we actually took a step closer to your theory, Zuckerman. Racist spy robots. Hackers hijacked some vacuums to yell racial insults at the people. ABC Australia reports. Why are you laughing?
I haven't heard this.
You haven't?
No, but it's like, didn't you get your microwave or fridge to say stuff to Erica once?
No. What? No.
I thought
I bought a Wi-Fi enabled microwave.
Right.
It didn't talk. Hello.
I thought it did. Didn't
No.
you do something with it?
Put some mac and cheese in here. No, it didn't. No, it was it just hooked into the Wi-Fi, and then the time was always correct. And then if I wanted to, and I had Alexa, which I don't, I could have said, "Hey, turn on the popcorn now." But I could never wrap my head around. So what? I got to just leave popcorn in there for the microwave? How long? How would you ever use that?
Right.
Okay, turn it on now.
Right.
It seems like just
Dumb.
blatant spying. You're just spying on us. Well, it turns out it could be true. Owners of the Ecovacs D-Bot X2 robot vacuum from Los Angeles to El Paso told ABC Australia that their wares had exhibited strange behaviors. But one story stuck out as particularly egregious. Minnesota lawyer Daniel Swenson told the ABC. It said told the ABC. That he initially thought his Chinese-made robot vacuum was malfunctioning when he began to hear weird noises coming from it. When he went to check out the problem on the robot's app, however, he found someone else was accessing its camera and remote control settings. Attempting to do due diligence, Swenson reset the vacuum's password only for it to begin zooming around and yelling the N-word repeatedly, all within earshot of his children. Despite a steady drumbeat of bad news for EVs. Wait, that's a different story. Forget it. What the hell?
In Minnesota? Mr. Swenson? Mr. Swenson?
What? It doesn't sound like he's African American, first of all.
No.
And what would be the Swedish racial slur? Is there any, how would you make fun of the Swedes? In a racially
the dumb Swede is the only thing.
Swedes are very smart.
Well, I've only heard the dumb Swede.
Every Swede I've interacted with is very smart. They live in a beautiful place. They're very down to earth. They have a good healthcare system. There's no way to get at the Swedes. They look beautiful. They're all blonde. They're all put together right. We got to work on that.
Dumb Swede.
Yeah. Look, you can't be racist anymore, and that's fine. We shouldn't be racist, but the window hasn't closed on a couple of maybe the Belgians and the Swedes. If you want to be a little racist towards them, go ahead.
Yeah, because they're so secure.
They're so secure.
They're so secure. This vacuum cleaner is totally out of line.
How do you who needs a vacuum cleaner that has a I understand the camera, I guess, has to, unless it has LiDAR or radar, I guess it's using like a Tesla. It's going to use the room as the way to get around.
Why does it have a voice?
But why is it
why is it talking?
Get out of my fucking way.
Yeah. Well, we have to. If it's got eyes, it's got to have a mouth.
Oh, you want me to vacuum again?
Go fuck yourself.
Fucking Swede. Hey, Swenson.
What's the guy's name?
Swenson.
Spencer, why don't you vacuum for once? That's what I would have done.
Put down your herring.
Oh, pickled herring on the floor again. What kind of life is this for me? But now maybe you're right. The other story I was talking about, of course, is, there's a piece of this audience, and I think a lot of car folks that thinks EVs are done, they're finished. Well, guess not, no. It may surprise you to hear that EV sales in the U.S. are actually rising and near, finally, a major milestone.
Which would
be the big turning point.
1 million.
According to Cox Automotive's Kelly Blue Book. I got to eat dinner, Zuckerman. I'm so hungry right now. EV sales jumped 11% year over year to just over 346,000 new EVs sold. More importantly, the EV market share in the U.S. has climbed. There was just listeners last week arguing with Johnny Lieberman saying, yeah, but the market share, well, you're wrong. The market share has climbed to 8.9%, up from 7.8% seen last year. While the EV market share growth rate has slowed somewhat, it's nearing the 10% threshold that many see as a major milestone for adoption of EVs in the U.S. Applause.
Yes.
And remember, this is about beating the Chinese who are hacking your robots.
Well, I just
and spewing racial slurs to Swedes.
I just looked up the stereotypes of Swedish.
Oh, you want to say that?
No. These people are stupid, spoiled, clumsy, or autistically rational.
I said, are you sure you want to say it? And you said, yeah, no, and then you read it.
I wasn't listening to you. There was nothing terrible in there.
Well, I would think the autism crowd might have some problems with that.
Autistically rational.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's a weird. I just read what was in Reddit.
All right, a couple more things that we got to get out of here. I don't know if you've heard this, Zuckerman. Car brands like Aston Martin, Porsche, and Mercedes are creating their own buildings. Automaker branded residences, skyscrapers.
Shut up.
And this is, look, we're 7 years after Porsche Design opened its first tower. Aston Martin just completed the construction of an 818-foot skyscraper. Wow. Just down the road from in downtown Miami.
I love how these car companies, I can just see some sort of branding guru comes along.
Yeah.
And says, I've got it. I'm going to solve your problems. You're not just a car company. You're a lifestyle company. Look at that moon, Ferriston.
The Aston yeah, I know, it's beautiful. I want to try all that iPhone tricks to shoot it. We'll see if I can get a good photograph, but hold on. The Aston Martin Tower is the tallest residential building in the city, one of the largest in the country. 391 residences, 61 floors, a yacht marina, sky amenities at the top floor with a curated art gallery, I'm so sure, a game room, really, and 42,000 square foot of usable space. Prices vary wildly for these residences. Mercedes-Benz Miami residences will start at $800,000. Aston Martin condos range from $1.2 million to $52.5 million. Porsche's residences start at around $3.5 million and go up to $33 million. One of Bugatti's Sky Mansions will set you back $5.5 million, and Pagani will ask for at least $2.2 million when its tower opens.
Come on.
What is happening, Zuckerman?
This is just dumb. Dumb.
But why are so many automakers so interested in the real estate market all of a sudden? Well, some of it, according to the Robb Report, is money, of course, but the rest of it is a new portfolio of lifestyle products, expanding the brand.
Looks like I said.
Expanding the brand beyond the automotive space because I think they see the writing on the wall. It's all going to be electric soon and less models and everything else. We might as well get into the
real estate business.
But would you ever move into one of these buildings? I mean, for me, again, being kind of crazy, like if I moved into the Aston Martin building, which I'm sure is really nice.
You'd have to have an Aston Martin.
Yeah, then I'd be like, but is that too matchy-matchy?
Yes. Yes.
If we're all in the Aston Martin building, we all have Aston Martins, are we all too matchy-matchy?
Yes.
If we're in the Porsche building, we're driving Porsches, and we're wearing Porsche watches and our Porsche clothes.
Yes.
What's happened to us as a society?
Yes. You're becoming a part of a cult. Your car company's become a cult company.
You're wearing your Mercedes boxer shorts and your Mercedes shoes.
And then you look surprisingly at the guy in the elevator.
Which Mercedes do you have?
Swiggins and Peabody.
I have that Mercedes too. You go to war with the Aston Martin building?
You go kick their asses.
I say we get together tonight and we go kick some Aston Martin ass. What
Hilarious.
a bizarre turn of events that is.
Yes. Nothing is working the way it's supposed to, Spike. That is the problem.
I don't know how I feel about that story, but it's not good. I know it's not good. Anyway, the last thing I wanted to bring up, and this isn't about politics. I just thought you'd enjoy it. It has to do with a guy running for president, but let's not talk about him. Let's just talk about what he's selling. The Donald Trump watch took a very strange turn, Zuckerman.
Really?
Did you read this story?
No.
And I'm talking about this because it's a watch story, and that's all. And it's also kind of Zuckerman news. In late September, Donald Trump announced a series of watches. You saw the Trump watch, right?
Yes.
Most of the watches cost $500, but one in the series cost $100,000. And they had gold on them, they had diamonds on them, and everybody's been trying to figure out where these watches came from. You can't wait 5 minutes to take a picture of the moon. We're almost done.
No, I'm listening to you. I got
to
ears. I can do more than one thing at once.
This is what happened with the owl last week.
Yes, go ahead.
And stop sending me owl pictures. Okay, so CNN gets involved, and they trace this watch to a company called the Best Watches on Earth LLC. Okay,
Swiss, of course.
Claimed to be Swiss made, but turns out it's not. Their trip takes them. I've got to find this place. Yeah, this place in. Well, it's somewhere in the Midwest. I think it was in Colorado, to a shopping center. That's right. Here it goes. Trump Swiss watches led reporters of CNN to a shopping center that houses both the Best Watches on Earth and the Royal Honey Shop, the top-selling male enhancement honey in the USA.
Oh, just bonk.
So it's
bonk.
the company sells these watches, and they also sell boner honey. Did you know about boner honey? Have you heard about this?
No idea, but it's just like the Bunko Company.
A spokesman for the honey seller, Vladimir Dmitriev,
Russian. All roads lead to Russia.
called it a highly reputable company.
Oh, yes.
We are a highly reputable company.
Our honey is the best, Dick honey.
And our watches are the best watches. But declined to respond to a list of questions that CNN offered. And then I looked up Royal Honey Shop because I was just fascinated. I'd never heard of, we of course sell Blue Chew, which we love. But I had no idea there was male enhancement honey.
Do you take it internally?
It's honey that gives you boners.
Will you put it on your dick or you eat it?
You can do whatever you want. There are no instructions. You just, whatever works. They sell Black Bull honey, Hard Steel honey, Pink Pussycat, Leopard Miracle. I don't know what these names do. Like, I don't associate leopards with boners.
None of it.
Leopard Miracle. But Hard Steel I get.
Well, aren't leopards known for short bursts of speed?
And now I've forgotten completely about the Trump watch, and I'm just obsessed with boner honey. So I start looking up this company, the Royal Honey Shop. And it's not Royal Honey. Royal Honey is a legitimate operation, but the Royal Honey Shop, I'm not so sure. And this is what they write about themselves at the Honey Shop. We combine the sweetness of family tradition.
Oh, yes. We get everyone together.
With the power of premium products designed to enhance male well-being. Founded in Dallas, Texas by a close-knit family. Our journey began with the goal of sharing products that help foster intimacy and connection. Our flagship offering, Royal Honey VIP, is crafted specifically for male enhancement and supporting those dealing with erectile dysfunction. I almost said erectile dysfunction. What is
sitting around the breakfast table? Dad, how's your boner?
What's really
it's a family operation? Everybody, it's family enhancement.
We did an ad for Stimmerol. Remember I told you that. The non-sexual boner. It was gum you could buy that gave you a non-sexual boner. Don't use your boner for sex. No, it's not for that. And it was men in a gentleman's club, not unlike Swiggins and Peabody.
Yes.
Nice boner, Swinson. Thank you. How did you get it? Chewing Stimmerol. But who would have guessed? Here's what's really confusing. The search for this watch led to that. It's still unclear in the way the article is written. Like, did the Royal Honey Company make the watches? The Royal Honey Company is saying that the family in Dallas is like, we have nothing to do with Trump. We don't want anything to do with him. But
And where does the Russian guy come from?
where does the Russian guy come from? What's happening? That seems like there's more to that story.
None of it good.
It's just beyond it's just weird and funny to me. It's just typical of this world we live in, Zuckerman. Many firsts. The story about a watch leads to boner honey.
I'm flabbergasted. Did not see this one coming first.
I didn't either. I'll tell you what I see coming, though, is our new Spike's Car Radio show. We're winding down here on the audio show. Mm-hmm. This could be, we might be, I wouldn't say this is the last show, but I'd say we're in a series of last shows right now up here in Baldwin Hills. Not to say we won't bring the video equipment up, but on the positive side, you're going to get to see us all. It's going to be very exciting.
Oh, boy.
You're going to have to pay attention, Zuckerman. You're going to feel the lights on you. You're going to see the camera. People are going to start recognizing you more than they already do.
Horrible.
When
your background,
when you're racist towards the Swedes, they're gonna go, there's that racist guy.
Yeah,
who
and they're gonna throw
Swedes.
herring at me, loot fish.
But as we talk about these stories, we're going to get to see, here's the good stuff. Forget about everything we think we know about this. You're going to see the cars we're going to review right behind you. We're going to be able to put cameras in the car as we're talking about them. As we're talking about some of our favorite stories, they're going to be right up there on the video, and you can watch them with us. You don't have to listen to us describe the video. We can show you the video on whatever parkway that was, and we could talk about it like that. It's going to be great. It's going to add a whole new dimension to this show.
We'll be covering ourselves in royal jelly.
We've hired an amazing team to put this together, and really, I'm so excited about it right now. I'm really excited about it because of what we can bring to you, the now listener and the watcher. You can still get it. You can still listen to it just like you're doing now. But
this will be SCR 3.0.
It is.
Well, 1.0 was when we were at the studio.
Podcast 1.
And now this is 2.0. We've been doing this here. And 3.0 will be over in the garage.
Yeah. And so much to look at. We're going to be looking at the cars, reviewing the cars as we're talking about them. You'll get to see them. We're going to have cameras, like I'm saying. There's going to be someone there who can walk the camera into the car of the F80 as we're talking about it. We'll see it on our monitors. These guys will see it when they're watching on YouTube. It's going to be great. Think of all the stuff we can show. All of the things we've missed. We can talk about how Rademak looks.
We can talk about your melting neck, my stomach.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Who cares?
My liver spots, all of that stuff.
No one cares. No one cares. Look at Clarkson. No one cares. He doesn't care. No one cares. I think the show's going to be great. Now I'm really excited about it. And
fantastic.
Soon you'll get to see it. And soon I'll have a date. We're building some stuff right now. I should have a date really soon. But I think I can safely say we are going to be on the air on YouTube before Thanksgiving.
Wow.
And that's just stage 1 of what I think is going to be a very big SCR garage network. There's lots more coming, Zuckerman, beyond this show. It's exciting. And that's all I'm going to say. But I will put this little bee in your bonnet, sir.
Sir.
If you want to
be in my bonnet.
Some sort of legal car show. I think the listeners right now are going, yeah. You should start thinking about that format. I'll help you with it. And we'll get you your own little show.
Because I have nothing else to do. I don't have anything else to do.
That's every time someone calls me to come tour or do something like that. I go, Zuckerman and I have day jobs. We got day jobs. We can't just fly around everywhere.
I am
and do
brutally
stuff.
busy.
Yes, I know. But at some point you won't be, right?
Yeah.
You'll retire soon.
Soon?
Yes.
No. No.
And I've got a career in entertainment waiting for you. You're going to love it.
Me and my audience of 3 people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you can hot rod rascals. That'll be your show. Well, Johnny Sticker, thank you.
Thank you, Johnny.
Great show. And Zuckerman, of course, thank you. And we'll see you next week. Spikes Car Radio.
Thanks for listening to Spike's Car Radio. Listen to new episodes every Wednesday and be sure to subscribe. Now, I'm gonna take a nap.